Hi, it's O.T. Carlson here. Today we're going back in time to a James Cameron science fiction classic, the movie that launched one of the most massive media franchises ever, one that's still going strong today and shows no signs of letting up. The movie I'm talking about today is The Terminator, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, the very first movie in this series, finally available on 4K. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. Nice cover art there of Arnold Schwarzenegger's character from the film. There's our spine text, back cover. This is available in a steelbook edition as well, but I wasn't able to get the steelbook, so I did have to sell for the standard edition this time around. Under the slipcover, you pretty much have the same thing. We have a digital code of the film. And in here we have our 4K Ultra High Def disc. Like several of the Warner back catalog releases, this one does not include a Blu-ray copy of the film. As a result, any images that you see in this film are either images I found on Google searches or photographs of my television set playing the movie. They are not screen caps. They do not represent 4K quality. Arnold Schwarzenegger stars as the fiercest and most relentless killing machine to ever threaten the survival of mankind. An indestructible cyborg, the Terminator is sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor, the woman whose unborn son will become humanity's only hope in a future war against machines. There's not much I can say about the Terminator franchise that hasn't already been said. This movie, of course, had its low-budget origins with this film way back in 1984. It spawned, I believe, about 6 or so feature films total, a TV series, and plenty of other media. One thing that's kind of funny is I remember when I was a kid, I saw Terminator toys advertised on TV all the time. This was an R-rated film series, and yet they were actually selling children's toys. What's even crazier is they were actually a financial success. Anyway, back to the movie. Again, this is where the Terminator series started, with Arnold Schwarzenegger portraying the T-800 Terminator, sent back in time to kill Sarah Connor, who will one day give birth to John Connor, who becomes the leader of the resistance against the machines. Even if you've never seen the original film, you probably know the story from one of its sequels, or having just read it online, because it's been so copied, so imitated by so many other pieces of media. But again, it can't top the original. Arnold Schwarzenegger portrays, again, the T-800 Terminator, who comes back in time, and Linda Hamilton portrays the woman who's supposed to be his victim, Sarah Connor. When women named Sarah Connor began mysteriously dying at the hands of the Terminator, she finds herself on the run, but finds herself allied with Kyle Reese, portrayed by Michael Biehn. There's also a great supporting cast in this film as well, including Paul Winfield and Lance Henriksen portraying police officers, Bill Paxton playing a gang leader, and Rick Rossovich portraying the boyfriend of Sarah Connor's roommate. The movie never lets up. It's a great science fiction tale that's certainly violent and gripping, but it also has a bit of a thinking man's touch to it as well, and I appreciate that angle. There have been many Terminator movies and media that have come since, but for me, nothing has ever topped this film and its sequel, the arguably better Terminator 2 Judgment Day, which became one of the first major uses of effective CGI in films. But the original film uses a lot of practical effects that for the most part look pretty good, aside from some really bad stop-motion animation that we see near the end of the film. Conan the Barbarian brought Arnold Schwarzenegger into films, but it was Terminator that made him into a superstar. I absolutely love this film, and any chance I get to revisit it is certainly a welcome addition. The Terminator comes to 4K in a transfer that's already sparked a lot of debate. There is supposedly AI upscaling being used on this, and it's clear the image has been processed to some degree. Usually these are great big red flags that automatically make me want to stay away from a transfer. But what I'm really surprised by is this transfer of the Terminator actually looks pretty good. There's a lot of color, pretty wide spectrum from deep dark black levels and shadow detail up to bright, vibrant colors when this movie calls for them. And it's a pretty sharp and surprisingly at times natural looking images. A few of the scenes throughout the movie do look a little soft and processed, but for the most part, I'm actually surprisingly impressed with what I see here. This is a massive improvement from the DNR debacle that we had on the sequel, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. And this is an example of modern processing tools actually being used correctly when it comes to a film. I'm very surprised with what I see here, but I mean that in all the best of ways. I would have preferred something a little more natural and filmic looking, but I'm not disappointed with what I see here either. We do get some archival bonus features sourced from some previous releases of the movie. It's not everything that we've had on previous releases of the movie. I wish we'd had every single feature, so you might not want to get rid of your older releases of the film just yet. Overall, though, this is a pretty good-looking release and a decent supplement package as well. Not to mention the movie's a classic for the ages. I can easily give this a pretty high recommendation if you are a fan of the film or you're just curious about old classic 80s sci-fi movies. How about you? Are you a fan of the Terminator? What do you think of the first movie? What do you prefer, the first movie or the second movie? How do you think this 4K transfer looks despite the use of processing? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos. And make sure you give us a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.